Hey, dude, this dog like stinks, man. Okay, groomer, do something about it, man.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey, all you pet stylists! You found the GroomPod. Welcome to our virtual salon. My name is Susy, and I'm your host. I'm a mobile groomer from Seattle, Washington, and anyone who knows me will tell you I love to talk, especially about my job. One of my favorite people to talk to is my friend and mentor and co-star of the show, Miss Barbara Bird.
Hey, Susie, great to be with you today to talk about grooming. What's up?
It's always great to be with you, Barbara. Welcome to episode 422 of the GroomPod, recorded on August 11th, 2024 in Snohomish, Washington and Simpsonville, South Carolina. This podcast is brought to you by our kind sponsors, Best Shot, Show Season, Precision Sharp, Groomore, and Stasco. And if you guys would like to support the show, tip the podcasters, that kind of thing, you can do so at our website, thegroompod.com, where you'll find the donation button where it says Help Out Barbara, or the Patreon button where you can subscribe. This week, we're going to talk about that scary topic of raising prices. And Barbara's going to compare a couple of new and up-and-coming companies, mainly long hair and girl with dogs. So what's new this week is brought to you by Groomore Software. If you haven't found Groomore, you're missing out. Groomore is an all-in-one software solution for your grooming business. Whether you are a solo mobile groomer or manage several shops, Groomore has everything you need. 24-hour online booking and forms, routing, credit card processing, reminders, Google Calendar and QuickBooks integration, and so much more. And the best customer service anywhere. Shop mobile or house call, Groomore has you covered. And they're giving us a free month. Just enter GroomPod22 in the coupon code. I got that new truck. Everybody probably knows I got a new truck. And I have to put my generator in the bed of the truck, and we've been trying to figure out how to protect it from the wind and the rain and the occasional snow that we have here in the Northwest. So I thought we just get like a doghouse with open sides and just build it. Well, my husband, he got very creative and he built me this really cool generator cover that's on a hinge that's attached to the side of the bed. You can pop up and do anything you need to do, like filling the gas tank or checking the oil or all those important things. And then you just set the hinged top back down and he's out there painting it now. It is so cool. I can't wait to show everybody once it's finished. But I couldn't figure out, I was thinking 4x4s and a roof that protected with some waterproof stuff. Nah, this is really quite the intricate design and I'm just really impressed with it. So now my generator is going to be covered because the leaves are turning here already. I just hate to see that.
Oh my God, you hardly even had a summer.
It was brief.
It was so late coming.
Maybe they'll take a really long time to turn. It's a little early.
Speaking of generators, I was at Costco this week and I noticed they had stacks and stacks of generators. Do we have any feedback on whether the Costco generators are a good type or good value or anything like that? Because sometimes they have gonga deals on these things.
They have large generators for houses. That might be good if you were trying to power a very large trailer, but I'm not sure that that would be applicable.
I know those large generators, but you can't even put those in a box. These were smaller. They look like they would go in the back of a pickup truck, or, they're smaller than the width of most truck beds.
They have really big ones, and they have ones that are not big enough. But they don't have any of the in-between size. They have them online, so you can get them online, but they don't have them where you can go pick them up or they're extra special deals in the warehouse, unfortunately. They do have decent generators, and pretty much anything they have is decent and it's backed up with a warranty, and it's usually solid machinery because they don't generally take crap. Occasionally they get some bad stuff, but the problem with theirs is they're either trying to power somebody's campsite or they're trying to power someone's mega McMansion. And the in between stuff they don't have a lot of. Home Depot does, and so does Lowe's. There's lots of places to get generators. Harbor Freight carries Predator generators, and they are actually pretty solid generators, although they're a little loud.
I like Harbor Freight for tool things. I really do. I've bought a number of vacuums and odds and ends at Harbor Freight and always been happy.
My husband gets a lot of tools there. They're not the most expensive tools, but the amount of time he's going to use them, since he's not working as a profession with the tools, and they work out. So, yeah, he's pretty happy there too. We find solutions to lots of stuff down there. Besides, it's fun to wander around in Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight is fun.
Remember the Pomeranian that I couldn't do the nails on, that he was just wigged out? Pomeranian Papillon cross of some sort. I don't know what else is in there. Heinz 57.
Right.
I did him last week, and it's so funny. Now that he knows I'm not going to do his nails, he is a really nice dog. You always have to keep in mind that he has a very short fuse and will flip in an instant, so you can't ever really take your guard down. But he will give me his feet now. Like, I can handle his feet now because he knows I'm not going to trim his nails. And apparently the vet is extremely jealous of that because they do takes them two people to trim his nails. They have to sedate him a little bit, whereas now I can trim all the hair off of his feet. He just gives me his feet. He even touches me with his foot. He's very foot friendly. But it's fun because if you're doing your job right with the behavior dogs, they're only behavior dogs for a little while. If you can figure out how to get past the thing, the trigger, the whatever, then they become great dogs and you forget that they were once behavior dogs. So that's cool. Hey, did you get to use your Duz dryer?
I used my Dust Dryer on my two Maltese this week and I love it. And here's the deal.
Give us your review.
It's great for small dogs. It's not so great for tall dogs because it's not tall, but it's great for small dogs and it actually has more air force than my X Power stand dryer, which was more diffuse air. And you can put it right where you can use it to fluff dry the way you're supposed to, which is to target specific area, place, and fluff that and work up the legs. It's not so good for just blowing warm air on the dog, which is how Yvonne used to use it. In spite of what I would say. But she's doing well. I had to talk with her this week, and I have to say I got a complete rundown on members of the family, and they're all doing okay.
Oh, good.
That's good to know. We're still very good friends.
Have you heard from Dave?
Yeah, I've had some exchanges with Dave, but I have not been good at responding to people since I've been here. I've been in kind of a stressed out zombie state.
That explains it because I've had a lovely chat with Dave. I like Dave. Dave is great.
I love Dave. He's just my guy. I reassured him that I was okay, and
Good.
I promised to be more in touch, and I miss him because he's got the best gay humor ever. You can't appreciate gay humor until you experience it. You can't imagine it. You don't know. But he just like goes places that I wouldn't go. And I just love it. I mean, he has a big sense of humor. I miss that in my life.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. All right, so I guess I'm going to be buying a Duz dryer. I need to get that one that separates.
It does version 3. I think that the does version 2 Pro is pretty good too. But this does have the greater force at the highest end. It has a higher high end of force.
It might be the better choice then. Let's take a break and then we'll talk about that nasty subject of price raising. Let me tell you about Best Shot's newest addition to the Ultramax Pro line. Ultramax Hair Hold is a flexible hairspray that can be layered on for a stronger hold. Ultramax Hair Hold spray is great, but my favorite new product is called the Max, and I won't groom without it. It's a fragrance-free ultra concentrate conditioner and detangler. It reduces drying time and handles undercoat and tangles like magic. Just a few drops in the final rinse or spray it on and dry it in. Contact your favorite Best Shot distributor or learn more online at bestshotpet.com. Grooming success begins with Best Shot in your tub. Made from the best stuff on earth. Ready, groomers? Here comes our first appointment. Barbara, why do we have such a hard time raising prices? What is the psychology behind that?
We're afraid of rejection.
Oh, that's a fact.
It's common human emotion. We're afraid of rejection. We're afraid we're going to raise prices and somebody's going to say, your prices are horrible. I'm not coming back. You have to be willing to go to that line. You have to be willing to let them go because, as Dave would say, they'll be back. If you're offering a good service, decent grooming, great customer relations, the chances are they won't be happy somewhere else. They'll come back. And if they're happier somewhere else, it leaves you an opening to find someone new who will accept your prices.
I think as a mobile, it's even worse because you are more part of the family and you've got a personal connection with these people. And that makes the rejection even more painful. Yeah. I think if you couple that with perhaps a lack of confidence.
There's also our self-worth. Am I really worth $100 for a Yorkie? I remember when my mentoree and assistant Susan left and she started grooming herself, she said, well, I'm going to not charge this much because I don't think I'm that good yet. And I said, no, don't do that because you never catch up to where you want to be when you get better. Just set your happy price and go for it.
Or you can do the math like I do. Because those are two different approaches. Barbara and I both have different approaches to the way that we set our prices, but both are successful and both work. They just work differently. So I think that you've hit it on the nose as the value of the service. It's in the eyes of our clients. It can just appear like a dog bath. Why would I pay $100 for a dog bath? But it's so much more, and it's up to us to sell that portion of it, to explain to them why it's not just a dog bath. And then there's the other end of the spectrum, of course, the people who know that it's their special baby that we're taking extra special care of and doing our very best to make sure that they're comfortable during the process. And they usually don't have any problems with price raises. But I always get a little anxious around this time of year because I raise my prices on September 1st every year, not necessarily for everybody, but always at this time of year. And this year, it seems like we've been hit with a lot of inflationary costs, especially where gas is concerned. In the state of Washington, our gas is $4.25 a gallon. Yeah, and it's actually come down a little bit in the last month. It was $4.60 earlier, $4.50 right in there. Now it's come down a little bit as it does at the end of the year. And then it'll spike back up at Labor Day and then go back down. Boy, they have us hooked. So I am going to raise pretty much everybody a little bit. And I don't raise everybody the same all the time, but this one, I think everybody's going to have at least a base increase. And what do you think is a fair increase for this year? I have a hard time getting perspective on it.
See, I think we have different approaches on that too, and as do many people. I always hike my prices in units of five because otherwise, if I charge $49, they're going to give me 50. If I charge 50, they'll give me 55.
Yeah, okay.
They cut back more when it doesn't round up so much. So I consider the tips to be an important part of my income. I work for tips. Tips are visible on the counter as well as automatic in the Square application. And I try to not do $42 and get 45.
That makes sense. That used to be okay, though. Getting 45 out of 42 used to be a decent tip.
If you've been raising every year kind of religiously, I don't think you want to do $5 because you'll be out of range in 3 years.
Right.
I think it makes more sense to do a $2 hike. It doesn't hurt that much and it still leaves room for a $3 tip.
Taking into account the end price and making sure I'm not ending up somewhere like $49 so that I'm only getting the dollar tip. I think that's a good way to go about it. And I always knew people come in at next year's new price, not this year's new price. Not that I ever take new people, but if I did take new people, they would come in at a higher price than the people that are my bread and butter people. The problem with that is all of my people are bread and butter people. I've been with them so long. Like the newest person I've had for over 3 years probably now. I think I might have that new cat people I just did. But cat people I don't count. I mean, I count them, but they're kind of unique because I don't see them as often most of the time. The people in my client base expect this price raise every September 1st. But I do think that the easiest way to get price raises to be accepted without too much pushback is communication. Barbara, you are a great communicator. You kind of have that market cornered.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So how do you go about communicating?
I love to communicate. Well, I do it very informally. I do not send out a letter so that you ditch the moment. You know, it's very tempting to just post a sign or send out postcards, but I do it eye to eye, face to face, and say, I need to let you know to be prepared. I usually do it the months before it's active. So if I were raising my prices in September, I would be telling people this month that the price is going to be up next time, and then just deal with their responses. Customer service and communication skills, they have to be practiced. You can't just avoid them all the time. You know what I'm saying? You can't just put up pretty pictures and expect that to do the same thing as face-to-face communication, eye contact.
And when you're in people's houses and you're telling them about the price raise, you have to watch for the very dry sense of humor. The joke that's made, the like, oh, I can't afford that. I guess this is the last time I'll be seeing you, because usually they're kidding, but it can go right past you because you're so nervous about raising the price.
It's so tender.
Yes. And then you get all butthurt.
We need to toughen our skins a little bit for raising the prices and just like not be afraid. Just boldly go where you need to go. Boldly go where you need to go for your prices and just do it with confidence, do it with a sense of worthiness. You can be empathetic. You say, I know life is tough. It's tough this year. And that's why we've held it down to $2 or whatever. Make them think that they're getting a deal.
Absolutely.
Use your sense of humor. Don't freak out. And if they think they're going to have to go somewhere else, like, does that mean you don't want to rebook? I just put it out there.
Also, accept it with grace because the likelihood is they're going to call you back in a little bit once they find out what everybody else is charging.
I always tell people the door's open. We'd love to see you come back. The door is always open.
So the way I do it is I'd say 98% of my people pre-book. And on my own personal books, I have their appointments scheduled out 30, 40 different appointment layers so that in my schedule, they have 5 years of appointments on that same day at that same time. They don't have to know that, and they don't know that. But each time I give them a business card with the next appointment written in there. And on the appointment right before the price raise, like Barbara was saying, for me, it's this month, I will write on there the new price and I'll put an arrow and I'll circle it and I'll point it out to them. I will have warned them a month before that September's coming up and prices are raising, but everybody's been with me so long, they just expect it. So then August will come and they'll say, what is the new price? And I'll have it written out on the card. And hopefully they won't confuse it with the card from last year or the card from 5 years ago because they keep them all. They're all hanging on the refrigerator. I don't know why people do that. Anyway, I put it on the card. I make sure they know because nobody likes a surprise. I want my people to know. The exception to that is the 3-month and 4-monthers. 2 months ago, I wasn't thinking about my price raises. I don't really think about them until like this month or the end of last month. So those people, they do get a little bit of a surprise. But since they're not the regular monthly people, then I don't worry about their reaction so much. So it's important not to apologize for your price raise because that comes off bad. That comes off sounding very bad. You want to own it. You want to be confident. I did some reading and some, with my friend AI and your friend AI. And AI said that it's good to provide some justification. And I think that the inflation that we have been living with for the last couple of years is justification. I don't think we really need to worry too much about that, especially this year. But it's also good to provide a goal. Like, I'm raising my prices because I want to do more continuing education, or I want to buy a clipper vac or a bathing system or something like that. People like to help you with your life. So if anybody is wondering why your prices are going up, have something like chambered back there so you can use that to give them some incentive to not feel like you're just raising prices just because. But like I said, this year, I don't think we need to worry too much about that. Everybody's feeling the pinch, so they will support us. I think also for those people who are on fixed incomes, and as a mobile groomer, you're in their house, you kind of know, although I'm a pretty good faker, you would think I was a bag lady, but I'm not. So some people, it's a little harder to tell. But for the most part, you can kind of get an impression of people from their houses and stuff like that. And so if somebody's truly unable to take the price increase, if they tell me and I can tell that they're really honest about it, I might not raise their price. I might reconsider on that one, although usually I've done that thinking beforehand. But other people that I might not raise the price on would be perhaps dogs that are within their last year of life. I'm not going to raise somebody's price on their dog that's at the end of its life. What do you think about that? Would you raise them anyway?
It depends on the dog because sometimes dogs on the last lap get much more difficult to groom.
Good point.
And then that becomes your justification for raising the price that you want to raise because it takes you more time, it takes you more patience, and you want to have that time and patience for that good dog that you've been grooming for so long that's not necessarily so good anymore. Actually, I don't want to do it when they're right up against death, but when they start pooping in the cage and biting at the brush, then that might be time to hit it up.
I think with those guys, I will raise their price at any time of the year if all of a sudden I have increased time needed to work with them. But yeah, that's definitely a consideration I hadn't quite thought about, because I do that reassessing as they age, kind of as we go along, because dogs certainly age at completely different rates. Some dogs are old at 7 and other dogs aren't old at 15. You just never know what you're going to get. Another reason that I might not raise your rates is because I made a promise to somebody who passed. So I have some dogs that I will never raise their rates on.
Yeah.
That's another reason. Those people get special consideration because they're special people. And then there's a few people who I originally priced really high because their dogs were behavior dogs, and now their dogs are no longer behavior dogs. I might take this opportunity to equalize that out a little bit.
Yeah, don't ever lower it, though.
Nope.
When I started having my stationary exercise pen in my bathing room, and I could put the bearded collie in there and air dry her for an hour and a half, and it cut a lot of time off of the table drying, and it was faster for us. I didn't call the guy sooner. I didn't lower the price. I just took the gravy. And you've got to have some gravy grooms. You can't have every single groom be fair for the customer and not have some treat grooms that are easier than what you're charging.
Oh, yeah.
It just helps you endure your work, period. Endure your work. They have some easy grooms that you get a good price on. Don't ever reduce the groom because the dog's not a problem. Not a problem is the baseline.
Right. Yes, indeed. So occasionally when somebody is really pushing back against the price raise, I might suggest an alternative. Like, for instance, maybe push the dog's grooming out an extra 2 weeks, something like that. Also, alternating bath and full groom. If I can do a maintenance bath in the in-between and maybe charge $10 less, if that helps them out to afford over the long haul, level out the price raise for them, I'll do that too, because doing a bath is not quite as much work. It's still work, so I'm not going to give it away, but to keep somebody that's been with me for a length of time because they're having financial hardship and I think I need to raise my price on their dog, this is a way that I can compromise. And usually what happens is they just prefer to have it done the way they've always had it done, and they might try the new way with an extra 2 weeks or bath groom, but it probably will end up back where it was.
Yeah, that's right. It probably will go back to what worked the best for them.
I totally agree. Okay, let's take a break, and then we're going to come back and learn about these two companies and how they are the same or different.
Show Season has a great enzymatic cleaner called Kennel Fresh, and you dilute it with warm water and it smells good, and then it evaporates to be a deodorant. As the Kennel Fresh dries, it's enzymatic, it eats the bacteria and the odor source, so it's really good stuff. You can use it indoors or out. Find it at your local distributors or showseasongrooming.com.
We want to welcome Randy and Cheryl Lowe from Precision Sharp and invite you to check out their website where you can see their newest precise cut shear called Lynx. It's a patented design featuring a thumb ring that slides the length of the handle for perfect ergonomic placement of your thumb. Slide it and lock it into position to get your best groom on. Check it out at precisionsharp.com.
Groomers, take your seats. It's time for B-Bird's Classroom.
All right, Barbara, mainly long hair and girl with dogs. Tell us about them.
I want to thank Kelly Sanford for bringing my attention to the equine products for horses That's what an equine that's what an equine would be. Just in case you don't know, for horses called mainly long hair products. I went to their website, and actually, this is a company that's been around a long time, but right now they're marketing for horses, people, and dogs. You know that I loved it, that they said that I could use their products and that I could use them on my dogs, because I think that most of our products are interchangeable for these species. And I've always been impressed with the top line horse products because they're more expensive and they're a little bit better formulated, in my humble opinion, or at least it was. So in the 80s and 90s, I used exhibitors quick color on my white dogs and on Bernese mountain dogs, really good because it brightened all the colors. And we used to use a silicone spray, various silicone sprays that were horse mane and tail detanglers, because they had a lot of silicone in them and they really worked on the dogs. So we did that before the dog products caught up to the idea. And I was just particularly impressed with this website, and I liked their products, but I loved their marketing. And one of the reasons their marketing is so above the average is that they're selling for humans. So they are required, if your product is also for human use, you have to disclose all the ingredients. So they're very good about that. They have a system of mixing their products, like you would mix the silicone polisher with the conditioner to get a leave-in matte relaxing conditioner that you can use overnight. These products I think might be great for doodles. And I've contacted the company and suggested that maybe we work together to expand their marketing for dog. They have dog products, but they don't tell you the ingredients of the dog products. I'm sure there's some version, maybe less concentrated for the dogs. I'm going to ask them what the difference is. I'm going to be in touch with these people. But the other thing that I really liked is that they emphasize the importance of tools and technique in dematting and in maintaining healthy long hair. And their suggestions follow what I said last week about the hair science. They're using wide tooth plastic brush, they're using a wide tooth detangler plastic brush that looks like it does a really good job. They're saying that a damaged mane and tail could be from poor products or poor tools or not having the right technique. You can't yank out horse mats just like you can't yank out dog mats without causing a great deal of damage that just makes for more matting. So they even have a written how to untangle a mane or tail, how to untangle, and it's spot on. It would go for our hair or dog hair just as well as it would be for horse hair. But when you get a horse mat, it's really kind of freaky because that coarse hair really tightens up. And this is one of the reasons why I think that they might be good for curly hair. Their products might be really good. And because you can adjust the amount of how you mix things, you can customize their products to your job or jobs or what you do most and how you want to use the products the most. So I was very impressed with this company, these products, and their marketing. And, I never say I like the marketing. And I had another one of those experiences, and that was with the Girl with Dogs products. And I think I ran into this product on the shampoos list. And what this company says, first of all, they have that horrible drawing of a single hair in a follicle that has air between the hair follicle and the hair shaft and the side of the hair follicle. There is no air in there. It's important to always remember that hair and hair follicle is a part of the skin. It's of the skin. There's skin there. It's glued together in many layers. You cannot go there. So that drawing immediately raised my suspicion. And then they market that their shampoo strengthens the root of the hair. Oh, Patty! In fact, it's just simply impossible because the truth is that the hair bulb, which is the root, it deteriorates through the growth cycle so that when it gets to the shedding phase, it's just all deteriorated. It's not a hair, but you cannot water it or treat it in any way from the surface of the skin down to the root. And the hair root itself is designed to die in the process of growth and telogen phase, has really poor root. And then as it goes up closer to the skin, that bulb disappears and it's just a little frayed end. So that's just like untrue misinformation. It's one thing to stretch your information and talk about nourishing. Okay, so mainly uses the term nourish the hair, which is bullshit, but that's just one little thing. Whereas this other company, they're marketing to a whole misinformation, and they don't disclose their ingredients. They do a generalized amphoteric surfactant, anionic surfactant plus conditioning agents. It's just all general smoke to keep you from knowing exactly what goes in their ingredients. And it's common misunderstandings about hair science that drives me nuts. I was not impressed with the Girl with Dogs products. The fluff out, they use fluff off as a substitute for fuck off.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little sense of humor. I can go for that. You know me, but it's all fluff. Thumbs down, bull patties. I wouldn't go there, but I would take a look at the mainly products and see if you might want to incorporate, especially their hair polish. You can add their hair polish to conditioner just like you do the Max. What I liked about their hair polisher, which is their hair detangler, we're talking about mainly now, is that it has the silicone complex plus a protein complex. First, there's a deep moisturizer. Panthenol has been scientifically shown to enter the inner hair cortex and moisturize the hair within the hair shaft. Keratin fills in the cracks and crevices and smooths the hair cuticle out, and the silicone complex does smoothing and makes a protective shield on the hair and makes it shine and sparkle and helps optically help you not see stains. It's interesting. And also their emphasis on how to dry groom using their products. Now they're talking about horses, but I think that the same could apply. So this is something that our pet owners could use to minimize the damage that brushing and combing at home does and make it be easier for them and for the dogs so that it's a positive for both parties and not a negative for the dog and not a deal, like home grooming has to not be a deal breaker for the dogs. And that depends a lot on your products and your tools.
Often the damage that the owners are doing at home when they're trying to maintain the dogs, you can see it. I know I see it because occasionally people will try to demat their dog right before I get there. Then as you're drying the Bichon, you see this huge red spot on the base of their tail. And you know that the owner was in there just ripping through that area trying to clean it up before I got there, which I will often mention that I saw a little red spot here, but I will never put them on the spot saying, did you try to brush that out or anything like that? But I will mention the spot and that I saw it so that then it doesn't get turned around and blamed on me, because it always shows up during the bath. I can always see stuff during the bath. What I like about this mainly long hair is the vent brushes that they have. They have two vent brushes. One of them's really small. They call it their detangler. That thing looks cool. I really want one of those. And then they pair it with a larger headed brush with shorter pins, also a vented pin brush. And yeah, I think those look really cool too. And they have a video library of how-tos and things. Yeah, good website. I think that they get 2 thumbs up, although we haven't tried their stuff.
Well, I'm hoping that my complimentary letter will result in a gift package. I spend so much money buying products just to try them out. I really do. It's not right.
I know, and you haven't been able to try out products really since December 31st. So now that you're back to some grooming or some ability to groom, you can try stuff again.
Next week, I'm grooming a Bichon named Champ. So it's a local dog. We'll find out what that's like.
Cool.
Report it to you.
Okay, well, also, you guys, next week, Barbara is having a party, a shindig, a gathering, and so we will not have a new podcast next week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks. Remember to support our sponsors. Thanks for being here for us for so many years, and happy grooming, everyone. We'll see you next time on the GroomPod. Bye-bye now.
Bye now. Take care of yourselves. We love you.